Before I start this video, thank you for 900 subscribers. I didn't know how this video blew up, but that doesn't matter. Back in the 70s and 80s, the fleet allocations for tube stock were basically all over the place, and the newly opened Jubilee line needed more trains, as by then they were using 1972 stocks. Initially, 66 car trains were ordered for the first phase of the Jubilee line between Charing Cross and Stanmore, however since barely anyone used the line. The first batch ended up being only 15 6-car units. The 1983 stock entered service on the 8th of May 1984, with a second batch consisting of 16 6-car units, and one 3-car unit. If you've been looking at the 83 stock and thought something felt oddly familiar, that's because the design of these trains were based on the D78 stocks that we looked at earlier. Here are a few pics comparing them.
So, why do these trains fail? Well, if you've been paying attention, you might have seen some red flags pop up. Quite literally, go back and watch that clip again. Anyway, if you still don't know, I'm going to give you a few seconds. Time's up. The fact that these trains were based on the designs of the D stock basically killed them off. Now, the 1983 stock included single leaf doors on all coaches. Now, you can argue that it did work on the D stock, however, the D stocks were much bigger since they were subsurface trains. Plus, they had 4 doors on every coach, compared to the 83 stocks, which on the driving coaches only had 3 doors. Now, thanks to the single leaf doors, dwell times at stations went really high, and therefore it made the train really unpopular with passengers. Another thing I mentioned earlier is the fact that the 83 stocks utilize the LT122 motors, which aren't the LT119 motors that are used on the D78 stocks and the 1973 stocks that we looked at earlier. Now, I don't know if this has any correlation with the fact that the motors were really bad and made the train really unreliable, but
the 1983 stock only lasted 14 years, being withdrawn in 1998. Thanks to the design of the trains, they wouldn't work well running alongside the newly introduced 1996 stocks, as well as running on the Jubilee line extension. At first, it was suggested to run both stocks alongside each other, however it was said to be more long-term efficient to have one standard stock on the line. A rail tour was held, and since the withdrawal, many units were stored or preserved. Until they were removed, the 83 stocks sat in various siding locations around the network where they were unfortunately heavily vandalized. The most notable location of preservation is at Broad Street near the East London line, where 2 units sit as an art installation. Anyway, thanks for watching this video.